Greek mythology isn't just random stories about gods throwing lightning around. These myths are actually ancient life lessons disguised as epic adventures, and once you see the hidden meanings, you'll never look at these stories the same way again. Stick around because we're about to blow your mind with what these ancient Greeks were really trying to tell us. You know the story. Curious woman opens a box, releases all evil into the world. Whoops! But that's not the real story at all. Here's what actually happened. The gods were mad that humans got fire, basically technology, so Zeus decided to punish everyone. His plan? Create the first woman and make her carry a box full of terrible things to humans as a gift. Pandora wasn't being nosy, she was literally designed to open that box. It was a setup from day one. The gods made her curious and then blamed her for being exactly what they created her to be. But here's the really messed up part. Hope stayed trapped in the box when everything else escaped. Think about what that means. All the bad stuff got out, but the one thing that could help us deal with it stayed locked away. The real message? This story is about how we always find ways to blame women when things go wrong, even when the whole situation was rigged against them from the start. Sound familiar? This myth predicted our phone addiction with scary accuracy. Narcissus fell in love with his own reflection in a pond and literally couldn't look away. He stopped eating, stopped sleeping, stopped talking to other people. Sound familiar? But the story gets worse. There was this nymph named Echo who was in love with Narcissus, but she was cursed. She could only repeat what other people said, never speak her own thoughts. So you have Narcissus completely obsessed with his own image and Echo who has no voice of her own. Together they represent modern social media perfectly. People either obsessing over their own posts and selfies or just copying and sharing other people's content without adding anything original. Both characters end up miserable and alone. Narcissus wastes away staring at himself, and Echo fades into nothing because nobody really sees her. The lesson? When you're too focused on your own image, you can't connect with real people. And when you don't have your own voice, you disappear entirely. Here's what they don't tell you in school. Medusa wasn't born a monster. She was turned into one, and the reason why is absolutely horrifying. Medusa was a young priestess working at a temple. Poseidon, god of the sea, attacked her right there in the holy temple. And what happened next? Did the gods punish Poseidon? Nope. They punished her. Athena turned Medusa into a monster whose gaze could literally kill people. So the victim became the villain while her attacker faced zero consequences. But think about what Medusa represents, a woman whose anger became so powerful that just looking at her was deadly. Even the hero Perseus couldn't face her directly. He had to use a mirror to avoid her eyes. The hidden meaning? When women get justifiably angry about being hurt, society treats their anger as more dangerous than the original violence. We're still doing this today, calling women crazy or monsters when they speak up about being mistreated. Sisyphus has to push a huge boulder up a mountain every single day. Just when he gets to the top, it rolls back down and he has to start over. Forever. Why this punishment? Because Sisyphus thought he was smarter than death itself. He kept trying to cheat and avoid dying, so the gods gave him the ultimate punishment, a completely pointless, never-ending task. But here's the twist. Some philosophers say we should imagine Sisyphus being happy. Why? Because once you accept that your daily routine might feel meaningless, you can find meaning in how you approach it. It's not about the boulder, it's about your attitude while pushing it. You can't control having to do boring, repetitive tasks, but you can control whether you let them break your spirit. This myth basically invented the idea of find joy in the journey, not the destination. Your daily grind doesn't have to crush you if you find small ways to make it meaningful. Persephone gets kidnapped by Hades and dragged to the underworld. While she's gone, her mother Demeter is so heartbroken that all the plants die and the world becomes cold and dark. When Persephone finally comes back, spring returns. But here's the key detail everyone misses. Persephone is different when she returns. She's not the innocent girl who got taken. She's now the queen of the dead. She's been changed by her time in darkness. This perfectly describes how depression works. You don't just get better and go back to being exactly who you were before. You learn to live with the dark periods, knowing they'll pass, but you're also changed by surviving them. The myth is teaching us that going through dark times is part of life's natural cycle. Winter always comes, but so does spring. And each time you survive the darkness, you come back stronger and wiser. Here's what's incredible. These ancient Greeks figured out human psychology thousands of years ago. Every relationship drama, every work frustration, every mental health struggle you've ever had, it's all mapped out in these myths. Think about it. We still call someone a narcissist when they're self-obsessed. We talk about opening Pandora's box when we create a mess we can't fix. We say someone is pushing a boulder uphill when they're stuck in an endless struggle. These stories don't just explain human nature, they give us a roadmap for dealing with it. Feeling stuck in a routine? Remember Sisyphus, dealing with someone's anger about being hurt? Think about Medusa. Struggling with social media addiction? Narcissus has your number. The ancient Greeks weren't just telling entertaining stories about gods and monsters. They were creating the world's first self-help guide, disguised as epic adventures. And 3,000 years later, we're still using their playbook because human nature hasn't changed. We've just gotten better special effects. So the next time someone tells you mythology is just old stories that don't matter anymore, remind them that these ancient tales predicted social media addiction, understood depression cycles, and called out victim blaming thousands of years before we thought we were so smart. The Greeks weren't primitive. They were playing chess while we're still learning checkers.